This is Mrs. Wainwright's Math Class, Chapters 6, 7, and 8, Packet D, Lesson 2, LCD, Least Common Denominator. Today's learning target: by the end of the lesson, you should confidently be able to say, I can find the LCD, or least common denominator, of two or more fractions. Our vocabulary is similar to our last lesson, Packet D, Lesson 1. Least means smallest, common means the same, multiple is the answers to the multiple minutes, and we also have denominator, which is the bottom number of a fraction. In the last lesson, we compared LCM and GCF, the different acronyms. Remember, GCF was what we originally learned. Greatest common factor are two lines or our pair of lines that point from left to right. Remind us that we find the factors from left to right. In LCM, our last letter, the M, the two lines or the pair of lines that point from top to bottom. Remind us that we do our work from top to bottom. Today we're doing another acronym, LCD, which is least common denominator. Guess what? D also has a line that goes from top to bottom, because the other one is curved and that doesn't count. And LCD is exactly the same thing as the LCM. So the LCD is the exact same way to solve the LCM, and it basically means the same thing with one small difference. And we'll take a look at that right now. And when asked to find an LCD, you'll be given fractions, not whole numbers. So you simply take the denominators of those fractions and find the LCM of them, just like we learned in the last lesson, Packet D, Lesson 1. It's that simple. You find the LCM of all the denominators. Question number 1 says, what's the LCD of 3/10 and 1/12? LCD stands for least common denominator. I need to find my denominators, which is my down bottom number. I have 10 and 12. Now that I have my denominators, I'm simply going to find the LCM. Remember, my M lines tell me to go down. Remember, when I want the LCM, I take my largest number first because it's the fastest way to solve it. So I'll write 12 and 10 to set myself up. I'll do my answers down. LCM is multiple. I'm going to go through my multiples of my 12 times tables. 12. When I go through my 10 times tables, do I say 12? No. 24. When I go through my 10 times tables, do I say 24? No. 36? No. 48? No. 60? That has to work, because remember, divisibility rule of 10, if the last digit is a 0, it's divisible by 10. And when I go through my 10 times tables, I do definitely say 60. So my answer is 60. Therefore, the LCD is 60, and it's just that simple. That's my final answer. Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 1 right now. Example number 2 says, find the LCD of 3/4, 1/5, and 7/25. So there's 3 fractions here. But again, we're going to do it the same way. LCD stands for least common denominator. Find all of my denominators, and I'm going to basically find the LCM for all of those numbers. We know that LCM means we go down. Okay, we're going to go from largest to smallest because it's simply the fastest way to solve. So I'll set up with 25, then 5, and then 4. I'm going to go through my multiples of 25 and see if they're also a multiple of 5 or 4. So I start with 25. Is that divisible by 5? It has to be because it ends in a 5. So the answer is yes. But is 25 divisible by 4? No. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. It is not divisible by 4. What comes after 25? Well, if you know money, you'll know what comes next because it's like counting quarters, right? Quarters are worth 25 cents. But if not, you'll use your scrap paper, as we've learned in the past, to solve it. So 25 times 2 is like 25 plus 25. I add them together and I get 50. Is that divisible by 5? It has to be. It ends in a 0. So the answer to 5 is yes. But is it divisible by 4? No, because 4 times 12 is 48. And after that would be more than 50. So that's not going to work. Okay, what comes next to my 25 times tables? Well, add another 25 to the 50 and I get 75. 75 divisible by 5. Has to be. It ends in a 5, so the answer is yes. But is 75 divisible by 4? I don't really know. That's a pretty large number, so I'm going to quickly do my division problem. And as I work it out, I see that I do have a remainder, So if I have a remainder, it cannot be divisible by that number. So 75 is not divisible by 4. Add another 25 to that, and I get 100. Is 100 divisible by 5? It has to be. It ends in a 0. Is 100 divisible by 4? Remember, the divisibility rule of 4 is the last two digits, unless those last two digits are both zeros. So I'm going to do a quick little division problem and see if 4 divides evenly into 100. I work it out, and I find that yes, it goes in 25 times, which again, those of you who are good with money, makes sense, right? Because there's 4 quarters in a dollar. So yes, 100 is divisible by 4. So 100 is divisible by both 25, 5, and 4. That is my LCM, or my LCD in this case, since this was the denominators. Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 2 right now. So let's review. Least is smallest, common is the same, multiple are my answers to the multiple minutes, denominator is the bottom number of a fraction. Remember that LCD is the same thing as the LCM. The only difference is we're taking the denominators of the numbers and finding the LCM for them. So in this case, 3/10 and 1/12, we take our denominators, we go ahead and find the LCM like we've always done, and as soon as we find it, that is our LCD. It's the least common denominator, which is the same thing as least common multiple of the denominators. Hopefully after yesterday's lesson and seeing today's lesson, with a little bit of practice that you did, you can confidently say, I can find the LCD, or least common denominator, of 2 or more fractions. But you know we'll be working on this tomorrow in class, so if you have any questions or concerns, please see one of us so we can sit with you and help you work it out. Good luck with the lesson.